One thing we do know, that we are in a very, very delicate time. And before we realize, everything can come to an end. What do? We have one goal. When the world will come to an end, we have one goal. That when it happens, we will have to be able to wave one flag. What's the flag gonna be? Torah and kindness. Torah and gmilut chasadim. When Mashiach would come and he will begin to screen which person has the right to survive and which person has to be clean from the face of the earth, we want to be on the side of the people that will survive. But even on the side of the people that will survive, we still have two different categories there. People that will survive smoothly, not one scratch will happen to them, not one hair will fall from their head, and people that will survive very hardly, meaning problem, tragedy, jail, losing money, attacks, wounds, all kinds of things like this, of what's going to happen in the world, running like fugitive, hiding in caves. There's two different kinds of survival. One, that nothing touch you, clear miracle. Millions are dying everywhere, and you surviving without one scratch. Obviously, clear miracle. In order for you to be in this level, you have to be perfectly righteous. Perfectly righteous doesn't mean that you never made any sin in your life. Obviously, it's not possible, especially not in this generation. What it means, perfectly righteous, means that before it happened, you already made repentance. If you're not 100% Shomer Shabbat, even a week before it happened, you already kept Shabbat and you accepted in yourself no more tricks, no more shortcuts, no more modern lifestyle. I'm going to become really Orthodox, no games, no all these areas when the modern Orthodox live and barely keep even 20% of what the requirement mitzvot are. You know, not this kind of religious person, a real one. If you are a real one, but most of your life you were not, everything goes after the final state. Akol olech achar hachitum. We don't care so much what happened until now. Right now, you good or not? What is it like? A person had criminal record, selling drugs, using drugs, or you know, in and out of jail, all kinds of things like this. Then nobody wants to marry him. Who wants to marry such a bum? You know, it's a disaster. You give your daughter to someone like that. But what happened if 20 years he was like that, but then for 2 years he's not like that anymore? That's it. He went to rehab, he got out of it. 2 years he doesn't touch anything, no cigarettes, no alcohol, became fully religious, sits and learn Torah, grew some beard, became a modest person. And you come to the yeshiva and they say, this guy is the most serious guy. It's an angel. Nothing to even remind how he used to be. So how are you going to put an X on him because 20 years he was bad? Who cares about those 20 years? We care about what's right now. If it's only 2-3 weeks or even 2-3 months, he's been making repentance, is not enough in time to give us an indication if he's going to last or not. You have to wait enough time. But if we see that this person is already have thousands of tests, he could have fallen many, many times, again and again and again and again and again. We must give him the benefits of the doubt. There's a new person is reborn. So if Mashiach come now, and he has 2 good years and 20 bad years prior to that, none of the 20 years will be even mentioned or taken into consideration. That's the beauty of the repentance. That's the good news. What's the bad news? The bad news is that a lot of the Baalei Tshuva are totally fake. Totally fake. It's all a show-off. Still eating barely kosher, still doing all kinds of bad things. Many of them are gays. Today I found out something so disturbing, mamash disturbing. You know what? I hear about it so much that it doesn't kill the conscience anymore. For that I have to cry. For the amount of times I hear about crimes in our community and tragedies and how people behave behind the scene. And already after listening and hearing about it so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times every year, at one point the system the normal system of a person, begin to digest everything. If it wouldn't be the case, I should have been fainting and not showing up to the lecture. Because 2.5 hours, I just found out about it. What did I find out about? What did I find out? That many religious people that have wife and children have a boyfriend on the side and doing gay activity. How did I find out? One rabbi in Israel told somebody that he knows that many of these men come to confess to him about their problems, and he cannot believe what's going on in the communities. Person that is as yarmulke and going to shul and standing like this in front of Hashem as a boyfriend on the side, mentally sick, got to such a low level. But this is only one problem. What about the thieves? What about the cheating in the business? What about prostitution? What about lack of modesty? What about the 5 tons of makeup on the face of a woman like a clown, and the heels when she leaves the house? I don't want to say how she look. And she calls herself religious. What about all the teenagers with all the horrible scenes in the internet and the Facebook, and everybody thinks is a frum kid, is a frum girl? What frum? I went to an engagement party in Flatbush 2 weeks ago for 10-20 minutes to say Mazal Tov. Somebody that I know from the day I landed here in America. Hashem put us together. I owed him gratitude for things he did to me in the past. He invited me to his daughter engagement party. Engagement. And I had a lecture two blocks away from there. It worked out too perfect. So okay, let me go say Mazal Tov. When I saw how people that are considered religious, how they behave in that party, I wanted to vomit. How there was a box, a camera, special automatic box. You stand in front of the lens and it takes pictures, like passport pictures. All, 4 or 5 pictures, it comes right on the spot. Instant. You had to see how the people were behaving in front of that camera. What they call themselves religious girls. First of all, almost all of them were dressed like total prostitutes. Total. Very short mini skirts, horrible heels, horrible clothes, everything short, open, totally nothing religious, nothing. Of course there are a few religious people, I'm not saying no, but the majority of the people, especially the young, were way below the minimum level required. And tons of red lipstick, and tons of all kinds of fake things glued to the face, and the hair like a witch, and standing in front of the camera with all kinds of faces, and loud, and all the men looks at them. And I say to myself, imagine when Mashiach come, what's going to be the end of these people? They dream, they think they're religious. So a lot of these fake Baalei Tshuva are all fake. They're 100% secular. Everything good you do in life, you're going to get rewarded for. So even if these fake people, they'll commit, put here, thank you. Even if these fake people will commit, will actually do here and there some mitzvot. Of course, they'll get the reward, right? If they don't drive the car on Shabbat, they'll get rewarded for it. Hashem accept everything. If they give donations, Hashem will give them the reward for that. But when Mashiach comes, most likely they won't survive at all. And if they will survive, it will be like what I said before, with a grace period of time that they will have to go through major suffering, losing all their money, losing their homes, pogroms, the Goyim burns their homes, run to hide, just like the prophets and Chazal describe. This is what's going to happen to these people. And eventually all these fake smiles and all this hypocrisy in their life, they will have to pay the price for it. I know that I'm saying very hard things to hear, but I'll be honest with you, I'm already tired after 21 years I'm not politically correct. I made it a rule in my life. But even someone like me that hates so much this political correctness, I hate it so much. I cannot stand politically correct hypocrite. I cannot stand them. But even someone like me, to one extent, is also not saying everything. I'm holding back. There's certain things I want to say and I'm holding it back. Why? In the back of my mind, I don't have the mood now for another massacre the next day on the internet and with the emails and all this, looking at all these clowns and listen to their criticism. At one point you get tired of it. But I'm telling you now, in a moment of truth, when you hear about what's going on, when you see what's going on, you'll be very, very surprised to see that from the 2 million Orthodox Reform people, if 500,000 of them will survive, I'll be more than happy. And I'm telling it to you, and you remember that that's what's going to happen. If we ourselves will survive to see it. A lot of these people with the quarter yarmulke and the long hair and all these ponytails, he calls himself religious. When Mashiach comes, they won't be able to show their face. The people that never go to prayer, the people that pray 20 seconds and the prayer is finished for them, they're not interested in Hashem. They just want to get it over with. Let's get rid of this burden. They come to the synagogue to begin with their mind is, when is this burden will be over? And this is what Hashem says, Ki lo tikarata Yaakov, ki yagata b'Yisrael. You didn't call me the nation of Jacob. I am a burden for you. I'm a burden for you. You're just doing it because you have to do it. Maybe you're afraid of the punishment, maybe you're embarrassed from me a little bit, but you're not happy to do it. What does it say in the Torah? תחת אשר לא עבדת את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב. All the suffering and the punishments that you're getting from me, it's not because you were not keeping the laws. Because you kept the laws with a sad, soured, cold face. It was a burden for you. You kept. What do you want? I did it. Leave me alone. I did it. No, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm going to pay you the worst punishment. Because instead of running with joy and tears of happiness, that you are the top VIP family that will get eternity of pleasure for me for listening to the Torah and the mitzvot, you walked around with a sad face, with depression, that you have to listen to me and to follow my instructions. What if for that you want a reward? This is what the Torah says. תחת אשר לא עבדת, meaning they kept everything. We cannot even say this. The Torah refers to people that keeps everything. What does it say? I'm going to give you a severe punishment. For what? For keeping all the laws. But how you kept it, I'm not satisfied. Not waking up early enough, not running to the shul, not praying with patience, no connection to me. One leg in a shul, one leg in Manhattan. Your mind is in a corruption, in a nonsense, in the movies, in the internet, in the Facebook, in all this nonsense that people do. You understand? And that's it. Not to talk about jealousy and lashon hara and anger and all the rest of the problems. If people won't wake up, they'll get the shock of their life.